I'm recording this from home after being at the No Kings protest in Maryville, Tennessee. I was going to record it down there, but the wind wouldn't allow that. But I want to talk honestly just for a few minutes because I'm tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the kind of tired that comes from watching the same cycles play out over and over again. Fear, power, misinformation, outrage, rinse, repeat. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, I keep hearing the same quiet question. Why is it so hard for us to just be human? Across traditions, across centuries, we've been given remarkably similar guidance from Jesus Christ. We get love your neighbor, love your enemy, care for the least of these. From Gautama Buddha, we get release attachment, practice compassion, do no harm. From the Tao Te Ching, we get stop forcing, live in balance, act without violence against the natural flow. Different languages, different metaphors, same direction. And yet, here we are, still choosing fear, still choosing domination, still choosing narratives that divide us into us and them. And part of what's exhausting right now isn't just the behavior, it's the information storm surrounding it. So let's just take a moment, gently and calmly, to ground ourselves in a couple of things that are actually true. Not to win arguments, not to prove anybody wrong, just to come back to reality. You may have seen videos claiming that the United States is already insolvent. That sounds terrifying. It's also not accurate. Insolvent means a country cannot pay its bills when they come due. And that is not what's happening right now. We have serious debt issues. We have long-term challenges. But the U.S. is still paying its obligations, still borrowing, still functioning. That doesn't mean everything's fine. It means we are not at the cliff that some people are describing. You may have heard that countries like China or Japan could call in the loans and collapse the U.S. overnight. But that's not how Treasury debt works. Countries that hold U.S. debt don't have a magic button. They can sell what they hold, but if they do that aggressively, they hurt themselves too. Because the global system is interconnected. It's not a game of chess where one move topples a king. It's more like a web, and when one strand snaps, everything shakes. You may also be hearing that the Allies are abandoning the U.S. or ignoring it entirely. What's actually happening is more nuanced. Allies sometimes disagree. They sometimes say no. They make decisions based on their own people, their own laws, their own fears. That's not collapse. That's a more complicated, less automatic world. So why does it all feel like everything is falling apart? Because fear spreads faster than truth, and outrage spreads faster than wisdom. And when you combine that with real problems, real injustice, real instability, it creates this constant fear that we're on the edge of something catastrophic. And here's the part I want to say carefully, because I know many of you watching this are carrying the same heaviness that I am. The danger is real, but the story we tell about the danger matters just as much. If we tell ourselves everything is collapsing, everyone is against us, it's all hopeless, then we start acting out of panic. And panic does not produce compassion. Panic does not produce wisdom. Panic does not produce the kind of world we're actually longing for. So what do we do instead? Especially when we're standing in a place like a protest or watching one on a screen. or sitting at home wondering if any of this makes a difference, I think we come back to something much smaller, much quieter, and much harder. We come back to the question, what am I choosing to add to the world today? Not, can I fix everything? Can I change the entire system? Can I make everyone wake up? But can I refuse to dehumanize the person I disagree with? Can I tell the truth without amplifying fear? Can I act with courage and compassion at the same time? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Humanity has always been like this. Messy, contradictory, capable of both incredible kindness and breathtaking harm. The difference isn't whether darkness exists. The difference is whether light keeps showing up anyway. And that light rarely looks like sweeping dramatic change. It looks like a person showing up to stand for something they believe in. A conversation that stays human instead of turning cruel. A community choosing care over exclusion. Someone deciding not to pass their anger on to the next person. Those things don't trend. They don't go viral. But they are the only reason we're still here. If you're at a protest today, or you were at a protest today, whether it was the one in Maryville or Knoxville or anywhere else, I want to offer you a framing of it. You were not there, just there to resist something. You were there to embody something different. Not louder hate, not sharper division, not the same energy you're pushing against, but something that echoes those ancient teachings we keep circling back to. Love that refuses to disappear. Compassion that doesn't depend on agreement. Courage that isn't rooted in fear. Because if we fight cruelty with cruelty, we don't defeat it. We just become another version of it. And I know that's the part that feels almost impossible some days, because there is so much to be angry about, so much that is unjust, so much that is deeply, legitimately wrong. Anger isn't the problem. Anger can be honest. Anger can be clarifying. But anger is a terrible architect. It can tell you what's broken, but it cannot build what comes next. That's where those teachings, Christ, Buddha, Laozi, and the Tao, keep pulling us back. Not away from action, but towards a different kind of action. Action that says, I will not let what I'm fighting for turn me into something I don't recognize. I will not let fear decide who is human and who is not. I will not let exhaustion convince me that compassion is pointless. Because here's the quiet truth underneath all of this. The world does not change all at once. It changes in clusters of people who decide over and over again, not here, not with me, not today. And maybe that's what this moment is asking of us. Not perfection, not certainty, not even victory in the way we usually define it, but presence, clarity, and a stubborn, almost unreasonable commitment to staying human in a world that keeps trying to pull us away from that. So if you're tired, you're not alone. If you're frustrated, you're seeing clearly. If you're wondering whether any of this matters, it does. Not because it fixes everything overnight, but because every act of grounded, compassionate resistance is a refusal to let the worst parts of humanity have the final word. And maybe, just maybe, that's how we start to live into these teachings again. Not as abstract ideals, but as daily choices, right here, right now. Stay safe out there, take care of each other, and wherever you are, keep choosing the way. And I'll see you tomorrow. It's Sunday.